What's going on, guys? Welcome to another review for Rurouni Kenshin Season 2, or the Kyoto Disturbance arc. This is episode 35, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
Yeah. So we pick up sometime after Kenshin retrieves his newest Sakamoto, but uh, Kenshin decides that he's going to leave the inn and follow his path alone because he realizes that um, the more people he gets involved that's accompanying him, like the more people will get involved in a lot of the danger that he gets into. For example, he unintentionally got the sword make well, actually the knife maker involved in getting his family kidnapped in order to get his Sakamoto again.
Yeah, and he figures if he just goes off on his own, that he won't get any more of his friends or acquaintances involved in his fights.
Yeah. But of course, shortly after he leaves the inn, he gets told I forgot what the old man's name is now. Uh, he tells Kenshin that there is someone that Kenshin can go look for, and that is Kenshin's old master who taught him how to wield the sword in the first place.
Yeah, so I mean, which we do eventually see Kenshin meeting up with at the end of the episode, but the episode then kind of transitions to just I guess showing that Masao is still like thinking about Kenshin after he's left, and she's not really sure. I guess what to do because now that Kenshin's gone, so she ends up going, of course, to the same place that which I think is like a ramen restaurant or something that Kaoru is working at.
I think
A
it
hot
was a
pot,
hot
yeah.
pot
So it's
restaurant.
like this hot pot
Yeah,
restaurant that Kaoru works at, and of course Kaoru hears because now they put up this. I guess they put up some wanted poster or missing poster for Kenshin, and that's how Misao brings up Kenshin Himura's name, and of course Kaoru hears this, and they start to just talk about Kenshin, or she Kaoru starts to ask like how she knows Kenshin, to which Misao starts explaining that they were traveling together, and of course the owner, I forget her name, I think it was Tai or Sai. She basically just gets the wrong idea, but
yeah. Or she just
yeah.
purposely just pokes fun at Misao's insistence that like how well she knows Kenshin to an extent,
Hmm.
by overly exaggerating that Misao has some kind of relationship with Kenshin, which Misao is trying to refute that. Uh, so but yeah, Yaoko is also there as well, and so Kaoru, Misao, and Yaoko are all going over to the same place in which Kenshin is meeting with his old master. Um, but of course, like the main reason as to why Kenshin wants to meet his old master is to teach him the final technique of I think it was called the Hiten Mitsurugi
Hmm.
Ryu sword ability. Um, but of course, I think his master's name the Seijiro. So Seijiro refuses to teach him this ability just due to the fact that um, I guess it's mainly because Kenshin abandoned his role as like well, of using his sword as means to killing people or
Well, we
something like
got a
that.
flashback too with when Kenshin, I guess, was 14, talking to his master about teaching him, I think, the same technique, and him just kind of, I guess, more or less like telling him he's not ready to learn it. And they were arguing about that in the past too.
Yeah, and supposedly they got into a fist fight over it, and of course it didn't really resolve anything. And even still to this day, Seijiro refuses to even teach Kenshin this new ability, and he explains like that he says this ability is founded to protect uh, people without belonging to a group. So it's not really clear like what lengths Kenshin has to go through in order for him to learn this ability. Uh, but by the time he tries to ask him any further, Kaoru, Misao, and Yagiko arrive at the house, and to hear their conversation. Pretty much, they just burst into the house, and then Kenshin is of course shocked to see Kaoru with them, which of course is the end of the episode after
Yeah.
this.
And not to really like keep comparing it to live action movies, but I do remember like in this arc in the live action that Kaoru I think the whole arc was separated from Kenshin. So it is interesting to see like that they like kind of reunited again at this point.
Yeah, the movies, like, they do their best to adapt the storyline. But of course, I guess obviously due to time constraints of like kind of what the movie can showcase, they had to cut out some certain portions um of the film, as well as like limit like certain abilities of certain
Yeah.
characters, what was it, that Cho, like the Cho character that we saw in the last episode, in which Kenshin was trying to get his Sakamoto back. He didn't really have much of a like a whip sword like he did in the anime. It was just mostly just like they were just using actual real
Yeah,
katanas.
because I didn't actually remember much about him in the live action, as compared to like how he is in the anime. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, Seijiro does show up in the films, but it's not like Kenshin doesn't really meet
oh
him
yeah,
after
yeah,
until
no, he
after he
doesn't. Yeah,
yeah.
in the movie, yeah, I do remember that now. Yeah, he doesn't show up until like the third movie. And their reunion, yeah, definitely happens differently, in the movie, because of what it's what happens, like or at least how they meet each other again is very different. Um, and
Yeah.
I don't know, it's interesting seeing that in the anime version and just seeing I guess how they somewhat I guess change some things in the live action version. Um, but I mean,
Yeah.
I don't mind how it is
Yeah,
in the anime. It's I guess it's a little bit like maybe less dramatic in a way, but it makes sense because it's I guess it's not a movie. Uh,
yeah. I mean, we still have like an entire second core left, starting next year after this one. So we still have a long way to go after
yeah,
this. And it's not really clear if this arc will really conclude by the end of the second core. Maybe there might be a third season which showcases the end of this one,
I
but
I
it's not
think it's
really clear
a
how much
safe
they're going
bet
to
that
be
there
adapting.
probably is going to be a third season. I mean, I'm assuming they plan to adapt the entire manga, so yeah, I'm assuming there'll probably be like a season 3, maybe season 4. Um, I guess depending on how long the manga was. Uh, but yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about this particular episode. It did feel like it kind of went by pretty quick, and I think the most that really happened in it really was just the reunite, Kenshin being reunited with Kaoru once again, and Kenshin also meeting his former master. Um, but aside from that, it's just Kenshin leaves, where he was staying at, and Misao not I guess not really taking it too well. Uh, but yeah, I thought it was a decent episode though. Not really any kind of action happening. It's just more so, um, Kenshin is finally I guess moving on from staying at that inn and being reunited with Kaoru again. Um, so I'm
Mhm.
kind of interested in how that's going to play out, especially considering what I know of how things happen in the movie. So yeah, I'm wondering how that's going to what they're going to do with that. But yeah, I don't have much else to say about the episode though. I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of action in this episode due to obvious reasons because they wanted to. Of course, they needed to introduce well, I wouldn't say reintroduce Kenshin's master into this series. But yeah, it's just. But like overall, it is a decent episode, and of course, an interesting wrinkle now that Kenshin is reunited with Kaoru all of a sudden. So it's we're gonna have to see where it goes from there. But of course, there's still the issue with how he's gonna end up protecting Kaoru now that she's pretty much obviously gonna be dragged into the with Kenshin's conflict against
Yeah,
Shishio.
and I mean that does happen in the movie as well. It's just that she does end up fighting too, and also in a scene the scene before she is reunited with Kenshin, Misao asks Kaoru if she's willing to basically willing to go through anything just to see him again, I guess. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, we know that she's at least resolved to, in a way, like, join Kenshin's fight. But yeah, guys. So that all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.